We are live now. It says we are live.
It says.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't think it's working. I don't think it's connecting to YouTube though. Because I didn't get a notification on my phone.
Oh, I have an idea. Oh, right, you do that. You didn't submit that rating. We are currently supposedly broadcasting live from the live. It says we are live, but we don't see anything on our YouTube channel. Do you have any tips? I think if we just relax, we did what we could. This lady will help us. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah. Do you feel woozy?
No.
Good.
I'm not sick. I'm just ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I believe you.
I'm just like, I want to figure this out.
Yeah, me too.
Because like YouTube is my jam. I should be able to know how to fix it, but.
Can I propose something? No.
Oh, wait, Alex.
Yes?
It's working.
It's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's working!
We did it!
We did it! Oh,
we did it! We did it!
Okay, so this means that someone just saw our freak out. That's what that means. Oh, I can see it. It's on here. Oh my goodness! Why did this work? I don't know how it worked. It actually worked. That's fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna send this link to the group chat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Score. I'm aware people are gonna see that. I'm aware people are gonna see it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But you know what?
That's totally fine.
Yeah, totally. And also my face is on our channel. That's kind of weird. Okay. 1 second. Let me just send this to the group chat. Cheyenne, while I do this, would you be willing, my door is shut, that's good. Would you be willing to talk about what your day has been like living in the wasteland of a place that is our campus? Woo, we're live. It actually shows up. This is fantastic. I'm posting this down.
Yeah, so living here on campus when there's nobody here is really different. It's kind of like the last days before like Christmas break, because there's no one in the halls. But the thing is that it's super quiet. It's like eerily quiet. It's too quiet in the and I live next to the common room, so it being like too eerily quiet is really weird. Because usually there's someone like slamming the door of the microwave or deet deet deet, or slamming the door of the common room, and it's like sometimes I hear people walking outside. That's how quiet it is that I can hear people walking outside when they are, and I'm like, who are you? And I mean, sometimes I look outside and I see people with suitcases leaving, but it's pretty rarely. It's really like a ghost town if you're walking around Georgetown. It's really, really creepy. And it's not so bad during the daytime because, I mean, it's DC. So, I mean, all you have to do is look outside and there's cars and stuff. And you're like, oh, it's still civilization. It's kind of like walking outside at like 3 p.m. on a Monday or like 12 when everyone's in class. It's kind of like that, except it's like that all day. Nighttime is when it gets creepy because like there's no noise, no one's walking around, no one's like yelling, no one's going to a party at Ville A, all that kind of mess. So I'm not used to that. It's really weird. Like I keep looking outside and I'm just like, please, someone, anyone.
How many people do you think are actually on your floor still? Do you think?
4, maybe 4? Including me.
And I should know this. I'm a Kennedy resident, but how many people actually live in Kennedy?
You mean in Reynolds?
Like on the average Southwest quad floor, how many people do you think live
I think there? It's like 40 something, like 48. I think.
Wow. And you think 4? Okay, gotcha.
I
Is
originally
that
thought it was
more?
just me and a football player, but I've seen 2 people since then. So, and some people have moved out. So,
Right. How many people are you saying? Like, what's the? I don't know the statistical term, but how many people are moving out per day?
from my floor or in general?
On your floor or in general, both.
Per day on
All
my
of the
floor,
information you can provide.
I haven't really seen anybody per day. It's more of just like 3 people moved one day and then it's quiet the next, and 2 people move, a day, or I'd say maybe like average 1 a day. And then outside, probably like 3 or 4 people I've seen move in a day, but it's a weekday, so probably everybody's either at work or stuck at home. So
Right. Huh. Huh. Geez. I don't know. I would have expected that. I'm not sure what I expected. Sorry, I'm thinking through all of this and also sharing this widely. So you will be talking to not me for a hot second. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Okay, Twitter. There we go. All right, group chats. Pay attention to me, group chats. Okay, there we go. How do you get food normally?
I have food stockpiled.
So how often do you leave your room?
Now, I don't.
You don't.
I
Oh
mean,
God.
I left today to hang out with a friend because, I mean, she's graduating, so I'm not going to see her. But I walked to CVS the other day to get a 2-liter and just to get some fresh air. And then I walked to see my friend today to go to the Georgetown bookstore and return some CDs to the radio station. But that's it. Otherwise, I don't leave my room unless to like go shower or, fix something to eat in the kitchen.
So not to, how do you hang out with someone while only being with them from 6 feet away?
I mean, we don't really stay 6 feet away. I know it's what they recommend. We stay 6 feet away from other people, but like with each other,
The
we're just
juicy
like,
admission comes out.
from other people, we stay about 6 feet away. But like we're willing to take the risk with each other. It's our own decision.
That's
So yeah, we just walked around. We went to the radio station. We got Chick-fil-A. We went and spent 400 of like a couple hundred like debit dollars at the bookstore because you're not going to be able to get those back, I don't think. So like
no,
use them while you got them.
correct. Correct. Yeah, I guess so. What's open and what isn't?
So all the campus coffee locations are closed. Chick-fil-A was open until about 3 today, 3 or 4. No, it was open till about 2:30 because
Wow.
I had class at 3:30.
Right.
They were open till then, so Chick-fil-A closed really early. Snacksa, all the coffee locations are closed. The bookstore, the second floor is closed. Vittles,
I'm frankly
all that.
surprised everything is open.
Yeah, it's like the essentials for the medical staff at the hospital are open. Because like they eat a lot of Chick-fil-A, they drink a lot of Starbucks, like those are open. Like everything
Right.
else is shut down. You can still get into like the classroom buildings like ICC and stuff, but there's nothing to do in them because you can't, get coffee or anything. So
Right. Um, from what you've heard, how strict is the you must be off by the 22nd thing? Like, are people actually going to follow that? Like, are people okay? Hold on. Are the people that are currently also on your floor planning to move out this Sunday? Are they taking that strong recommendation seriously, or are they waiting?
I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody on my floor.
Huh?
I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody on my floor.
Oh, that's
I
fair.
stay to
Right.
myself. I don't. Yeah.
Right. So you said that you haven't really moved from your room.
No.
So no. That's probably. Are you doing that because of medical guidance, or are you doing that because that's what you would do anyway? Because that's what I would do anyway. So
A little bit of both. I mean, if it were, I mean, number one, also there's no one here, so there's nothing to do.
right.
Like if a couple of my friends were here, like, and it wasn't for medical guidance, I probably would like hang out in the common room with them. But also just
Right.
according to medical guidance and trying to pack stuff up before I leave. Um, Yeah. So a little bit of both all around, mostly because of medical guidance and there's no one here. So
Right, right. Have you seen? So have you seen it when you have left your room? Have you seen anyone who isn't a student, or is everyone you've seen? Has everyone have you seen any adults, quote unquote?
oh
I'm
yeah, I
still.
mean it was really busy today. I think it was because they're trying to finish. I think they know it's going to be crazy tomorrow because it's Friday, and I think they're preparing. So there was a lot of construction crews out. The construction crews were well out and about. The cleaning staff and maintenance staff were still walking around doing their great and grand hard jobs. Besides that, no, there's no security. There's no, I mean, GUPD and parking enforcement, but I mean, like in the dorms, there's no security. Like, there's no hired security guards. There's nothing. So,
Right.
uh,
Are when you look and see groups of people outside, are they keeping 6 feet away from one another?
no,
Oh wow, okay.
no, they're all just chilling. Like the construction guys didn't even look like they were like what they looked like they were taking a break when I saw them. They were all just sitting on the bleachers and they were just like smoking and talking. So, and then the other guys were just standing around like there was this. I guess they were working on a sewer line and they were just standing around staring at it. So, um, yeah, I mean, most of the RAs are gone. There's no like staff or faculty. Just like I've seen like bookstore, Chick-fil-A, like the essential people that for stuff that is open, people are here. Otherwise, like people are gone. So
Wow. And you said you're leaving on Sunday?
no, so I'm leaving tomorrow actually because my mom believes that there's going to be a lot more stricter shutdown policies that are going to be coming. So just hurry up and get home back to Tennessee.
For the university to go from you must leave by March 29th to you probably should leave by March 22nd to then go to you must leave by March 22nd. That would feel like a little bit unlikely. But do you think that might be coming down the pike, like for them to kind of edge into an ultimatum?
Yeah, so we
This is where
originally
we
thought, I do have to say, like, we originally thought that it was you must leave by the 22nd. We were working with so I'm part of the student coalition for Hoya's the COVID-19 response. And we were all freaking out, as you can imagine, because a lot of people are planning to come next week to move out. Well, someone in there messaged the original sender, Geoff, I think it was. I cannot remember the gentleman's last name. Sorry.
Mhm.
So sorry. But he emailed back and said, no, that needs a clarification. It's not so much a must, so much as you really need to just in case.
Mm.
And so they aren't going to start packing up students' stuff until the 29th. They want you to be out by the 22nd, but they're not going to come storming in your dorms to pack up your stuff until the 29th. So I think that
Well,
they
but that's
know.
the thing. That means that
Yeah,
they're going to break into. How would they do that? Would they? I guess they have keys, but
yeah.
that
I mean,
feels.
they have keys.
I mean, do you seriously think they're going to do that?
Like, well, I mean, they're not going to break in. They're just going to come in and be like, "Oh, you're here? Oh, get out."
But seriously, what happens? I mean, tensions are high, so there very may well be some students who decide to just sit in their rooms and be there at 12:01 on March 30th. Is there going to be a consequence? I say consequence. I meant like an impact. Is something going to happen? I didn't mean to load a word with any connotation there.
Well, I mean, I'm not Jay Gruber, and I'm not any of the GUPD or like any of the enforcement staff, but I'm sure they at most would just get a little slap on the wrist, if they had to get
But I
something
mean,
like,
like, what can they do? I mean, how do they enforce that? I'm actually asking.
that's an
I
interesting
doubt either
question
of them have answers.
because there's actually some talk about trying to, this was when we thought that we were going to be shoved out on the 22nd. There was talk about trying to force legal action on Georgetown about DC's new eviction policies, about how this is unlawful eviction.
Mm.
I don't know much about that, so I can't say much on that. I'm working with parent outreach. I'm not on the legal side. I'm not a lawyer.
You have access to those chats and I don't. So I could literally ask you questions, submit them to the group chat, and you could report back as to what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know how they would enforce it. I guess they would just come in and be like, hey, shoo,
Right.
like a rat, like, get out of here, rat. Like,
right. Well, the rat costume Nikhil has, and he's off campus technically. So.
I mean, it's the same principle as that they told us we could only move out with a designated move-out time, right? So in the beginning, when they told us you can only move out with your designated move-out time, and they gave us a form where we had to fill out our own time down to the hour and the minute, we were like, okay, you're telling us we have a designated move-out time, but then we make it ourselves, and we can't go past that. Like, who's going to enforce that? No GOPD officer is going to be like, oh, well, they're not here by 3:05, can't move out. Like, what are you going to, that's not going to work. So it's a lack of transparency and absolute confusion that nobody knows what's happening. So they just kind of say,
them staying on campus until March 30th is going to be enforced.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure they'll have like officers or RHO like walk around because that's when the move out company is going to start coming through. But I mean, like, there's just a total lack of like transparency that's causing a bunch of confusion to run around. So,
right. But the confusion that you speak of, you probably haven't been particularly witness to because you're in your room.
Yeah.
I guess the confusion you've seen all comes out of those group chats. And having been in those group chats for a solid 2.5 days, it is crazy. And I heard it only got crazier. But I won't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's going down in the Hoyas v. COVID group chat as we speak?
As we speak, let me get my X-ray vision out. I can't see, but currently there is talk about trying to make a pass. So we got a lot of our demands answered. The pass-fail optional. There's still some talk about securing the rights for workers here, like what's going to happen to like the Leo's workers and the cleaning staff, and making sure that they're going to be taken care of and not treated unfairly. And then there's also some people who are advocating for an all A's semester, just that everybody gets all A's regardless.
That's okay. Continue on.
I don't know. I'm happy with the pass-fail option personally.
That was an accident. So that's supposed to happen. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm happy with the pass-fail option, but there are some people who are advocating for it. So that's part of it. And mostly it's trying to get everything back organized because there are things rolling out progressively from Georgetown in their announcements, and just trying to keep our resolutions current, or the chat is trying to keep resolutions current with what's being asked, because we don't want to send them a letter that's asking for pass fail when they've already given it to us. So it's a constant process of like revising and rewriting, and sending emails and a meeting and blah, blah, blah.
That was actually one of my questions. At full disclosure, I was on the Hoyas v. COVID team too. However many like below 10 viewers we have right now on this. I was on that commission for roughly 2 days, and one of the questions I had ongoing was, how can we act while not knowing exactly what their plans are, the administration plans are? And the answer that I continually got, to my understanding, was, we have to prepare for whatever they're doing, and we need to be ahead of them. We need to be ahead of the curve. But that feels like the answer to that question. That said, Cheyenne, and I didn't ask you to prepare for this question, so I apologize. What has, and you were mentioning that you were starting to go into this, but what has that coalition already accomplished, and what is left to accomplish?
Yeah, so part of what's, I think what we've started to accomplish, or they and we have started to accomplish, is pass-fail, first of all. And recording lectures is now required by professors, and there's a leniency policy for professors not to really assign any major work for 2 weeks to allow students to transition.
Wow.
Yeah, that is what the email from the provost said, is that he's encouraged professors to not require any work for 2 weeks, like major work.
That's news.
And basically just all sorts of leniency. Like, we still wanted to advocate for extended spring break, but that kind of takes care of it, because if there's no big assignments, then like students do have time to leave and move out. It's still not perfect because some students are struggling to move out and go to classes, so they're trying to still advocate for like cancellation of classes for the next week, or at least for the rest of this week, but there's only one day in this week. So we accomplished the pass fail option. One of our gigantic concerns was federal work study, of which I am a recipient. So it was a big concern to me too. We've accomplished that. So we got our biggest claim that we wanted was just answers and transparency about what's going to happen, because it really seemed like Georgetown was shooting first and dealing with the consequences later, is what it really seemed like. It really seemed like, okay, get out of here. We'll fix it later. Just get out of here. Just go. And so we were like, what? Work study kids were like, I need money. Like, you just like fired me from my job. Like, what am I gonna do? I need this money to survive. And Georgetown was like, move out. And we're like, money. And they're just like,
So were you involved at all with the federal work study program activity within the coalition? Because I know they were advocating
a little bit.
for work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind going into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I didn't have a great amount to do with it, just so much as like providing my own experience and providing my own opinions, like anybody else in the ambassadors chat or liaisons. I did help revise a couple letters and just try and keep up with news and informing parents on what was happening. So what we accomplished was we got answers, and I believe the current answer is that federal work study students will continue to be paid just like they would any other time. And individual managers are supposed to be reaching out to those students. And I believe what it is, and I could be wrong, but I think what I read in the email was that you should be able to put in your shifts if you're a federal work study student, as you usually would, and get paid for those hours. It may depend on the manager, but the manager is supposed to reach out to that student, to that worker, and work with them. Even if telework is not applicable, you're still supposed to be paid for those hours that you would normally work. So that was a big accomplishment because that took a lot of load off students' backs. And also, we made sure that we got confirmed that Flex is going to be refunded, which is something that we were very, very happy about, because we're not getting tuition refunded. So give us our Flex dollars, because we're not using that either. So that's something else we accomplished. What's left to accomplish, there is still some fight to get some tuition refunded. There's also a concern that students who are on full scholarship will not get prorated housing and board. And so there's fight to get them money too, because there's a common belief that they deserve it just as much. And as a student on scholarship, I would like some of that back. But of course,
could you explain what it means, just logically, I'm thinking that through. What does it mean for a student on a full scholarship to get prorated room and board?
So I'm guessing what it would mean is that they would get the full cost of housing prorated to them just as anybody else would, even if they aren't paying for scholarship, because of not being able to refund tuition, at all. Because even though I don't know of anybody personally who's on full scholarship, I'm on a lot of scholarship, but I'm not on full scholarship. There's still some that I paid myself. And knowing that I'm not going to be able to get any of that back, I sure would like to get some of that money back, considering I'm having 2 months of my education taken away from me in a certain amount of way. So I think that's sort of the logic there, is that even if people didn't pay for room and board, they still paid for tuition somehow if they did. And so they want it back through the housing, since Georgetown announced their contingency plan after the tuition deadline for the refund. So I think that's the logic there. I wasn't the one who brought up the idea. I've just been observing in the chat, but I think that's people's logic there. And so that's something that we're still advocating for and trying to get not only flex dollars refunded, but entire meal plans refunded. So,
right.
Or like the partial, trying to get whatever isn't going to be spent of the meal plans prorated.
Do you have a personal opinion on the merits of what the university has done thus far, or do you have a personal opinion on what they've done right and what they've done wrong?
Yeah, so that's a hard question, because I kind of feel for the university. I try to put myself in their shoes, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm angry at them. I'm really angry as a rural, low-income kid with immunocompromised parents. I'm angry. Like, I'm really angry at them because I know this is a changing and like a fluent situation and they can only do with what information that they have. But I don't think that their method of communication has been very well founded. I think it should have been faster. I think it should have been more transparent. Telling kids that you can stay on campus and then 2 days later saying no, get out is not, it's not productive. Because I know me personally, my mom has to drive me up here because plane tickets are too expensive. She can't just take off work like that and drive me up here. It's impossible. It doesn't work like that. She was lucky that she had a sick day, so I guess it wasn't impossible that day. But like in general, people that work shifts can't just take off like that on a moment's notice usually. So it made me really mad. And so I get that they can only get so much information so fast because they probably get their information from, you know, county and district and blah, blah, blah. But the fact that they waited for the day after the tuition refund deadline is really, really sneaky to me. Like, it's so, to me, it seems that Georgetown is protecting its liability before it's protecting its students. It seems like they're saying, get off campus and then we'll figure it out. Get off campus and then we'll figure it out. We're going to protect, because we'd rather, maybe, I'm not saying Georgetown wants its students to get sick. I'm just saying that Georgetown definitely does not want students to get sick on its campus, if you catch my drift. So,
I do.
I don't like
I have heard critiques that say that the interests are the action the university has been taking has been wholly, if not almost entirely, driven by financial and legal concerns. That's
absolutely.
Some are saying it. Many in the group chat 4 days ago were saying this. That's all I'm saying.
The only reason they're giving prorated housing and board is because they know these kids with lawyer parents would sue the heck out of them. And so I've ratted on the university enough. Let me go with some positives of what I think they're doing. I think they're doing very well in listening to students. I do have to say that. They've been very receptive. They've been very receptive to us so far. Like I said, when we've emailed them about getting flex refunded, when we've emailed them about the pass-fail option, when we made that petition, all the petitions they've answered so far, that petition about extending spring break, that petition for pass-fail, within 24 hours or like 48 hours, they made it an option. They've been answering all of our emails. They've let students from the group chat in on meetings. Like, they've been talking to them continuously, emailing them continuously.
Students, do you know?
People in the group chat, people in the Hoyas v. COVID, and Gussa. Gussa has been involved with it too.
Bryce.
And yeah. And so they've been talking to administration.
Bryce is the vice president, right?
I think so. I don't follow Gussa that well.
I think he's either co-president or vice president. That is something I should know.
Yeah, so I think that they've been listening to students really well. I think they've been in a dead set panic. I think that's fair enough to say. And they worried about themselves first. And said, like, we're worrying about students, but clearly they worry about themselves first. But they have been listening to students really well, I think. I think they need to continue to do that. I think they need to continue listening to parents and listen to students because we're the ones going through it. We know what's happening. So I think they've been listening to our petitions. They've been listening to our emails. They've been listening to us talking to professors. And those professors then complaining to deans and us complaining to the deans. And so I think they're getting the volume. I think that they get that people are angry and they want to do stuff to fix it. Right now, they're just like, okay, we need to, get everybody off campus first and then sort of deal with the aftermath. So again, I think they've been very responsive, which is extremely good. They postponed commencement instead of doing it online. Like, that was a direct result, I think, of the petition that was circulating around with the seniors.
Just from an outsider's perspective, as a non-senior, and also just thinking about it logically, canceling commencement is not something that people are going to take and run with lightly. No one's going to be okay with that. Like, couldn't they almost potentially foresee the petition coming down the pike as soon as they send that email? And like, no one's going to say, oh, for sure, I'm a senior, I'm graduating college, fine, I don't need a graduation ceremony. Like, wouldn't you think that that would be something they would foresee happening and spare themselves having to write those 700-word emails if it's just going to be reversed 2 days later?
Well, I mean, they did that with moving out, so
right. But I
they
mean,
reversed that within 2 days.
To cancel seniors' commencement, don't you think that is like a big enough of a move that people are going to object to it?
No, I mean, I think they would anticipate. I mean, definitely people would object to it, but I don't think Georgetown would be afraid of having to deal with that resentment. I really do think, I don't think that in their heart of hearts they wanted to cancel it. I really don't think they wanted. And so I think they were waiting to see the reaction. I really do. I think they were waiting to see if people were like, cancel it, or like, don't cancel it. And so it was kind of their confirmation of like, okay, let's not cancel it. Like, this is what people want, because if they had made an announcement, like you said, there would have been objection. Either people would have been really happy or really angry. And so I think once they started to see our response to things on Anyway, they were like, let's just see what happens here. Like, let's see what happens with commencement. Let's see what the feeling is on it. And then when they got that petition, they were like, okay, this is the general feeling amongst the people that it's going to be affecting. And maybe they were leaning that way anyway, and that just gave them confirmation to go ahead, So I do think that they're paying attention. I think they're playing their cards. I think instead of panicking now, I think their panicking is over and they're just trying to deal with the fallout and trying to straighten out. I think this was the equivalent of taking a 52 deck of cards and just slinging them in the air and then trying to sort them, like pick them up and sort them by aces and spades and clubs. And, like, now they're just trying to get all their ducks in a row by kneeling around and flipping over cards and setting them in different piles. So it was a panic at first, and now it's a slow crawl to make everything work again. That's what it feels like.
Of the policies the university has implemented, what do you think could still afford to be changed or altered? And what would you like to see from them going forward?
I would like to see them go ahead and confirm something for the workers here, because I know that's a big concern I have, is for the health and like safety of the workers that are going to be here. Like, are their wages going to be protected? It's great that our wages are, but like the cleaning staff and the maintenance crew, they're hard workers. They deserve to have a living wage as well and continue to have it. The Leo's workers. So I'd like to see some transparency on that. I'd like to see a lot more transparency with the parents. Because like I said, I'm not in charge of parent outreach. I just am avid in it, because I know if we're freaking out, the parents are freaking out even more. And so
right,
whenever I message a parent and I update them, they always say, I have never had a parent say, thank you, I've already seen this. Every parent I have ever messaged says, thank you, it changes by the minute, and they aren't telling us anything. This is so confusing. Like, thank you for these updates. How many
parents have you messaged?
Probably at least like 100 on Facebook.
Wow. So you have spoken to, corresponded with, / 100 different parents.
Yeah.
Did they come to you?
Some of them do. I basically go onto the Facebook, the Georgetown's Facebook, and I see parents that are already kind of angrily commenting or like confused and commenting. And so I message them. I'll send them a message and be like, hi, I'm a Georgetown student.
Oh, you're a saint. You're a literal saint.
And I just message them and I'm like, this is what's happening, and I just sent a guy a message the other day because he was talking about he wasn't sure if he was going a parent. He was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to move my daughter out. And so I was telling him an updated situation about how we have no carts on campus, but people are utilizing boxes, and about the guards, how there's no guards and all that kind of stuff. And I just get messages replying back to me, sometimes not for days, because people don't check messages, especially because if I'm not friends with them, it just says requested, so I'm not dead center. They have to go to requested messages. But whenever that's in there, they come back to me and they're like, thank you, I appreciate it. I have no idea what's going on. Georgetown's not like responding to me. I'm confused. It changes every day. It changes every hour. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want, and I always say this, I always make sure, like, if you want, I'll keep you updated, because I don't just want to spam people's messages. I don't just want to force this news on them if they don't want to hear it, especially from me, because I'm not their child. I'm just trying to be there to help them if they want it. And so far, I haven't had anybody tell me, thanks, I'm good. Usually, like, everybody has been like,
it feels like you're acting in like a professional, you should be getting paid for this capacity. Like, you were thrust into this like how many days ago, and now you've been a liaison to 100 parents who you happen to find on Facebook. So correct me if I'm wrong. Are you like these parents' only reliable chain of information?
I don't know about that for sure. I'm sure their kids, or like their whoever they are related to or know at Georgetown, I'm sure they're telling them information as well. But judging by what they tell me, I'm a more reliable source than the Georgetown Facebook page, apparently. So, if you want to say, do I think that I'm more reliable for them based off their reaction versus Georgetown official transcriptions, I'd say probably yes. Judging by the reaction I've gotten, I can't say for sure because I'm not those parents, but I'm pretty happy with the reactions I've gotten, because I want to help them. I know, like, they're confused because they're not on campus. They just get emails every now and then. They're people, they have their own busy lives, and then this was thrust upon them. So I just want to help, like,
this
facilitate.
As well as virus. Did you mean the virus is this, or like yeah, we all had this thrust upon us for no reason.
Yeah.
Kind of without warning. We went from going to classes to don't leave your houses and don't go grocery shopping unless you have to.
Yeah, because people have enough to worry about. Like, that's kind of the thing too, is that with the chat, not just me, but with the chat in general, is trying to get Georgetown to be more transparent, is that people have enough to worry about with this going on. They don't need to be worrying about where their next paycheck is going to be coming from, or if they're going to have, $50 refunded from Flex. There needs to be some stability. People like me that don't have any internet at home should not worry about whether or not they're going to have to pass they're going to be able to pass their class, or whether or not they're going to have to withdraw for the semester. Like, they should be assured that their struggles and their stresses are going to be handled. And so that's what I try to do by messaging the parents or messaging whoever I can. It's just like, if I can give them these certainties about what's happening, then, it takes a little bit more off their brains to free up to watch out for their family members, or to like focus on their work, like work overtime if they have to make money, because they don't know when they're going to be laid off, or they don't know when their job is going to shut down. So I'm just trying to be the relay in the chain of information that's like, okay, you were worried about housing. You didn't know if federal work study was going to be covered. Well, here, I'm going to send you a quick message and tell you, yes, it's going to be covered. Bam, thing off their mind, because I know how much of a relief it is to me, again. So I just want to help those people as well. Because like I said, we've all got enough to worry about right now.
No kidding. I'm really just amazed that you have put yourself in the position of essentially being not even university liaison, because what you're doing is conveying concerns from these concerned parents to the group chat, which is then conveying them to the university. But you're acting in a capacity for which I would argue you should be getting paid. So kudos to you. And so you're planning to move back on Sunday, is that correct?
No, I'm moving back on Friday.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I made a text. So when you mentioned that you have concerns about internet access and your ability to take classes once you leave, if I'm not wrong in remembering that you mentioned that, would you mind going into detail on that?
Yeah, so I guess for posterity, whoever's going to be watching this stream in the future, I'm from a small town in Tennessee called Fly, where there's no internet access like whatsoever, except for a cell phone, and even then you get like 1 bar of service. So, I mean, Comcast and Spectrum are services that are gratefully offering students like free Wi-Fi hotspots for like 60 days, and that's great, but they don't reach to where I live, so it doesn't matter for me. And I know there's a lot of other kids, like such in the group chat, that are worried they're not going to have internet as well. And since Georgetown's moving to online classes, that means I can't attend lectures, I can't do homework, and I'm a history major, so I can't do research. And research is literally everything I do. My poor computer is dying with PDFs. Research is all I do. So not having online access would be absolutely brutal. And when I know me and several others, when we messaged deans about this concern, they told us we should consider withdrawing. Now, withdrawing for the semester.
Wait, hold on. Can you back up? Would you mind saying that one more time? Can you say that again?
When several others in the group chat and myself messaged deans about the concerns we had about not being able to have online access, like whatsoever, we were told to consider withdrawing for the semester.
Yes, and said consider withdrawing.
Yes, but I will say, she did offer me several alternatives first. She said, would you be able to like stay on campus? This was before they told us like we have to get out. And she said that, you know, Comcast and Spectrum are offering, and I was like, thanks, but like it doesn't work. And so then she was like, well, you might have to consider withdrawing for the semester. And everybody else that I've seen that has messaged their dean about lack of internet, or they're going to be in quarantine and can't have internet, their deans have told them in screenshots and emails to also consider withdrawing for the semester. Now, this is particularly important because if they withdrew for the semester, they would not get any of their tuition refunded because it's after the deadline. So you would be out $30,000 for the semester. Like, you would not get like anything back, because usually when you withdraw, I guess you can get some money back this time because it's after the deadline. You don't get anything.
Do you have any thoughts on just zooming out? I'm trying to let you state opinions regarding that because I don't have as much information as you have. But how does that make you feel? Go ahead.
Honestly, it makes me feel frustrated, but there's not much else the deans can do. I mean, if you tell them that all the internet options don't work, they can't physically go to your house and set up internet, right? So there's only so much they can do.
I don't know what's feasible, but I bet maybe they could pay for a router. It feels like there's other options.
There are other options, but I don't know if they're being limited by, you know, HR, or they're being limited by their own higher ups. So I think they're suggesting what they can. I know my dean personally has been like very gracious and very accommodating. I have no issues with her whatsoever. She's answered my every request very timely, I may add. So it frustrates me. I'm going to be okay. My dad's boss is going to let me use his office Wi-Fi during the weekdays. So I'm going to be fine. I should be okay. Unless, you know, weekend research, but I'm going to work that out personally with my professors. That's no longer a dean's concern. That's a me on an individual basis with a class concern. For other people, they're not solved. Like, they're not as easily solved because they're going to be in quarantine or time difference. And professors have told them, like, well, consider withdrawing. So that frustrates me for them because I can't help them. You know, I can't fly to Hawaii and help them set up a router. I can't wake them up at 3 a.m. saying, hey, it's time for class. So, yeah, it just frustrates me that I and other people can't really do anything to help them. They're kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place. So.
Well, right. And I hesitate to say this, but it feels like, yes, you can make decisions that take into account as many perspectives as possible, but ultimately, as the conversation continues to have new missiles thrown at it from all directions on an hourly basis, you can really only do so much so quickly. Like, you have to, things are changing by the hour, and yes, it's important to make decisions that account for people's needs and as many needs as you can. But how would you somebody who's going to be directly affected on that kind of a level you just described, how would you respond to the argument the university's quote unquote doing the best they can?
That's really difficult because I'm not in administration, so I don't know if they're doing the best they can. I think there's a lot of infighting right now. From the structures that I have personally been involved in with sort of administration levels, I'm guessing there's a lot of infighting and debate going on right now about like what's the best option, between like deans and like administration and even higher up. I'm sure there's a lot of, I say fighting, but I really mean debate. I'm sure there's a lot of like, cross connection and conversation about what's going on. So I think they're doing the best they can in the sense that they're being as productive as they can in the middle of interconnected chaos. So I think the only way that I think to make them more productive would to be, like the joke of like lock them all in a room until they get it done. Which obviously cannot happen.
As long as they're 6 feet apart from one another. That's my only request.
So I don't know if they're doing the best they can. I think they're doing the best they're able to do right now. I think they're doing the best they think they're able to do. That's the better way to put it. I think they're doing the best they think.
That's very different.
Yeah, because I think they're just as uncertain as we are, because no one knows if DC is going to be locked down today or tomorrow, And so they're working with a lot of unknowns, and those unknowns trickle down to us and give us even more unknowns. So they have to kind of work what they think is 2 steps ahead of DC to try and get a jump on like what may come next or what may come next for the US policy. So they're kind of working with what they think they're going to do.
In that case, a strong recommendation of the 22nd makes sense if their goal is to get ahead of DC. And I guess it all comes, whether or not that's a good thing, that decision to want to get ahead of DC is, we can decide whether that's good or bad or mixed based on what the motivations behind that are. If it's legally motivated or financially motivated versus if it's a care for students, which I am understanding we hope is their biggest concern.
Yeah. So.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, I guess it looks like we have actually had some questions from the floor. Thank you for your patience, floor. Your wily, really rowdy floor here. Okay, Cheyenne, they were wondering, do you know what an asparagus is? We have had this question that they want you to answer. Can you answer that question?
Yes, I know what an asparagus is.
Can you describe it just so they know that you're not just bluffing?
Green, and it's a stalk. It's long like this, like that. It's a green, it's a stalk.
That's good enough for me. Is that good enough for the floor?
They're just saying that because I once mistook it for another vegetable.
Ah, yes. That works for me. I hope that works for the floor. I gave them a chance to respond and confirm that was what they wanted, but they haven't said anything. And then also, whatever happened to Jake was asked. I'm expecting a spit take any second.
Yeah. So Jake is happy. He's living on another floor in another dorm. He's doing pretty well so far as I can surmise whenever I have the chance to pass him in chatting. He seems happy with all his classes, seems happy with the way his life is going. So I'd say he's doing okay.
And not knowingly. That's all I can do. So is that good for the floor? Jake appears to be fine. Okay, great. And then also, I don't know, by the way, Cheyenne, you probably know these people individually, so I'm going to leave the inside joking to you. Somebody said, "May a fleet of angels escort you to Valhalla, brother." Someone said that.
Yeah, ignore him. He's Finnish.
Lovely. And then also someone, I can't tell if this is a question. I can't tell if it's just releasing of angst. But someone wants to know the origins of the infamous Georgetown vanishing phantom M&Ms. Can you answer that?
I really like M&Ms, and so I think they're suggesting that I am the ghost taking the M&Ms from Georgetown, but I will deny those rumors. I buy my own M&Ms on my own time, my own money.
Gotcha. And then also, what How dead are the commenters? Someone said, how dead are we?
They're pretty
I'm
dead.
assuming on a scale of 1 to 10.
Like
Do you want me
11.
to list off the names of the users?
No, I can see them.
Caps messages.
They're over 9,000.
Yeah. So, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10. So it says you're very screwed. That's what it says. Okay, that's lovely. Also, yes, okay, that is all I have. That appears to be all what the commenters have. Oh, okay, never mind. Someone feels called out on the comments. But anyway, lovely. So you're leaving tomorrow?
Yes.
I guess you're not going to see campus again until August or September.
That's what it's looking to be.
Last words for this live stream or campus, or any final concluding emotional remarks?
Yeah, I think most of all, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, because it's really hard to look at this right now as something. It's really hard to not look at this right now as something that's just happening in the moment. I know, especially at Georgetown, we tend to look at something as being just, oh, this is so inconvenient. Like, I was going to go to this concert on this day, or I was going to go to this event. Like, this stupid pandemic has me locked up. Not realizing that this is going to have repercussions for months and months and months, because we tend to live in the moment, and we tend to live in the, what class do I need to go to, in the next 30 minutes? So I think most importantly, just step back, take a perspective, realize that no matter how strongly you believe this is affecting people, that it is going to have repercussions worldwide just because of the measures that have already been taken. So Make sure to take care of yourselves and each other a lot more. Look out for other people. Don't be selfish. The music industry is hurting a lot right now, so support your local artist. All the art communities are hurting right now. Journalists are being laid off.
Hard agree on that. And also, to artists, don't undersell yourself. Don't offer free requests, because then bots will. Never mind, it's a whole thing. But yeah, no, exactly. Oh yeah. By the way, all the commenters said, "I'm so ignore us. We're idiots. Love you, Che. Apologies for all of this. You accept those apologies?"
Yeah, I'll take them.
Someone said, "I will make no apologies because it won't save me." I have a feeling this person would not be a fan of Pascal's wager, but there we go. And then let's see. Yes, I don't know. Just in terms of seriously signing off here, I was watching Governor Cuomo today, and I've only seen him maybe 4 times on TV for maybe 5 minutes each. But I don't know. I just inherently trusted the guy, and him and Fauci, I think, are people you could probably look to for facts and calm reasonableness these days. Reason thinking. If you're looking, I'd say keep an eye on Cuomo's press conferences, and maybe for him on the ticket in 2024. I'm not making stickers already. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. Cheyenne, do you have anything you'd like to sign off with?
Support your local musicians and artists, and just love yourself and love each other, and be nice to people. Be nice to everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. Just this whole epidemic probably has a lot of us taking stock of our lives. Not to be a huge downer, but yeah, just use this time wisely and be kind to your fellow man, and with those who you can interact with. So online, I'd like to see the amount of trolling just drop. That would be nice if we could all just kind of try to make peace with one another. The amount of net profanity, I'd just like to see it kind of go down. And then yeah, stay indoors. And I have a feeling we'll probably be doing this again soon in some way. But anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to press the off button, and this is probably going to be posted right on YouTube once I do that as a normal video. So the chat's going to end. Chatters, are we okay with this just ending?
They're professional live streamers. They get it.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, well, I'll probably have to listen to them for advice in the future as well. So, okay, great. We'll need to get their advice from them. I wonder what software you all use. Well, actually, and then that's the ending thing. If you all would like to be part of the crack research team, not for real, but for fake, if you wanted to buy a shirt, the link is in our it's on our Facebook. if you scroll down far enough, the link to buy the Crack Loose Your Steam membership thing. And then be sure to follow us at Hilltop Show everywhere that you see. And we will hopefully be able to choose, purchase, and acquire our camera and filming equipment by this Sunday, which is when we're aiming to have our first live news update on the madness of the world up and ready. Excellent. In that case, I'm going to sign off. I need to come up with some sort of sign-off message, not ripped off of Jim Carrey, but for now, good afternoon, good evening.
Oh, Alex.
I'm trying to press stop. Okay, stop. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3.